Before we get started today, I want to say thank you for every single like, comment, recommendation, and a very special thank you to my listener support group. If you like what we do here at Off the Deep End Podcast, please consider checking out the listener support tab on our channel's anchor link. Without you, we would not be able to continue the great work we're doing with these conversations, breaking down boundaries and helping heal each other by sharing our stories, our trials, our tribulations, and how we process them. Let's jump straight into this episode.
Are you thinking about making a podcast? Spotify has a platform that lets you make one, and if I can figure it out, you definitely can too. You can create your own content all in one place for free with zero hangups and even earn money as soon as you get started. Spotify lets you record and edit episodes from your phone or computer so you can go mobile, just like I enjoy to do. My favorite thing about it is that you can create video episodes if you wish and upload them to wherever podcasts are heard. You can even set up subscriptions or, if you're like me, listener support options for listeners to help you grow. I 10 out of 10 recommend the Spotify for Podcasters app. Or, why don't you just step over to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started on your own podcast. What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Off the Deep End Podcast. I am here with the man, the myth, Smith and Wesson himself, entrepreneur, businessman, professional in all aspects. And, we just reconnected after quite a few years. So I'm here with Merv, the man, the myth, Smith and Wesson, Chop It Up founder. You also have quite a few other things going on as well.
Yep. What's up, Eddie, man? What's going on?
I'm just happy to be here, man. It's another day.
Sure.
Crazy day at work, but every day is crazy, right?
Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
Every day is, man, depending on what you got going on, depending on what you're doing,
Definitely, brother.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, why don't we start with the most important part of who we are as human beings, right? Why don't we just start with, what was your childhood like, man?
Childhood, man. I'm from down south, man. Small town called Richmond Hill. It's actually growing a lot recently. We actually dropped a location out there for Chop It Up. It's in my hometown. It's adjacent to a city called Savannah. It's far southeast, maybe about 300 miles away from Atlanta. Atlanta's a lot up north. And it's pretty much, we're an hour and a half away from Jacksonville, Florida, which is, a good stretch, but it shares a lot of the same culture. We consider ourselves Geechees. It's one of those things that when you grow up down there, you get a lot of understanding of the past and just our history as a culture. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, man, I grew up in a country environment, a lot of hunting, fighting, with cousins, of course, cousins growing up, you know what I'm saying? Just out in the wilderness a lot. And, as we grow up, we start, expanding out to Savannah a little bit more city. And it was cool, man. You know what I'm saying? That's where all my family is, though. We're the first generation Millers to be out here on the West Coast. And so, yeah, man, I mean, for the most part, though, yeah, that's pretty much what it is, man. Had a good work ethic because all my family, man, was great at setting good examples in the work environment, and that was important. My granddaddy, he worked at the CSX railroad for he retired from there. You know what I mean? And my grandma, she's working to this day. She's 86 years old, or I'm gonna say 80. Somewhere. I don't want to misquote her.
It's
age,
up there.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, she's still running tough, man. Like, energetic. I spoke with her the other day. But those people raised me. My grandparents actually raised me, and so we were raised. I was raised as the baby after they've already raised 7 kids of their own. And I've been down there since I was 3 years old.
Wow.
And so I grew up there until I actually left when I was 16 in 1998, and that's when I came out here to Washington.
Well, what was your first? Obviously, it's definitely a culture shock, or not. I wouldn't say always a culture shock, but a change of environment can always be eye-opening. What were the first things you recognized about about moving up here? Because I always get different answers when it comes to this.
I could tell you one thing. The first thing I noticed getting off the airport, just leaving the airport, was the HOV lane. I was like, what's going on with this HOV lane over here? I had just got my driver's license down in Georgia, and my pops had picked me up, him and his girl. My pops be Hollywood. He asked me to drive, and so as soon as we left the airport, I had to drive, and the traffic and just seeing that we had three people in the car and being able to get in the HOV lane and avoid all that traffic, man, that was like something different. You know what I'm saying? So I never seen that before, but it was cool.
Yeah.
Besides that, all the different nationalities of people. Again, in the southern region of America, man, southeast region, it's just, I don't know about Florida, but in Georgia, particularly in the area where I'm from, it's typically a standard. You know what I'm saying? It ain't too many different people living out there. It's a lot of people that's originally just from the South, which is white and black.
Yeah.
For the most part. You know what I'm saying? So the first thing I noticed after the HOV lane was how multicultural it was.
Yeah. That's definitely one of my favorite things about coming up here, because I've done a lot of traveling with the military, and with my life experiences, I've been able to observe other cultures, other different areas, and the first thing I always realize is that the demographic that I'm looking at, you can tell who is business savvy, you can tell who is laid back and doesn't take their challenges and obstacles in life as seriously as others. You can tell who's gone through some stuff just by looking in most people's eyes, right. who's experienced real harsh moments of life, and who's taken that and grow rows between the concrete,
right,
versus someone who just keeps walking and just steps over these opportunities, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yep. And it's just been one of them things. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you get into the weather that I've noticed out here that I like. I like everything about Washington.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money to make. That was another thing. The opportunities is just completely different. Yeah, as far as money flow and economic resources.
100%.
It's way different.
Did you see a huge gap up here when you came up here for business opportunities? Because I know that over time, like being born and raised in this region, I've watched throughout the 90s as this place went from being pretty scarce to completely filled with businesses to completely scarce in 2008, and then completely filled with businesses to completely scarce again, and right now in this region. But one thing that I noticed that always stays afloat is barbershops. Any cosmetic application, so like cosmetologists, they're always working, and people who create things that people usually depend on in this consumer culture that we have here in America. People love to consume. They feel the dopamine releasing when they're consuming things, when they're buying new things. People get addicted to shopping, versus other areas where people get addicted to just being around your family because that's all you have and that's all you get able to lean on.
Right.
Did you see any big power gap or vacuums up here?
Man, well, in Georgia at the time, minimum wage was I think $5.50 an hour. I got up here and man, like I would look at job opportunities and man, minimum wage was like $9.75. So it was a $4 gap in just minimum wage alone. Gas prices was a lot different. There was a lot of things that was different. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't really do too much networking business wise when I first got here. I was just young, man, just trying to find my way and just meet people and just get involved.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. One thing that was the craziest was my accent. Yeah, my accent was, people was having a hard time understanding what I had to say most of the time. So I had to get used to trying to enunciate words the right way and do stuff. But because I mean, it's not that I wasn't speaking correctly. It was just I don't know. You familiar? You've been down south, right? You from Virginia?
100%. I was stationed in Virginia for 4 years.
Okay.
So you have to, being from up here where people pronunciate every single thing, and it's a really big deal if you don't. As a child growing up, the teacher would be on your ass the second you don't say a certain vowel the right way.
Right.
They're on you.
Well, it's different. Like, so if you're in class, obviously you're gonna speak a little bit different than you were as soon as you step in the hallway.
Oh yeah.
And get with your partners and buddies in the hallway. That's when the accent and the slang kick in.
Oh yeah.
But right when you get in the classroom, it's back to the, more appropriate way to speak and enunciate and speak. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, yeah, I just noticed that every time, man, over here it was just like, yo, what? Can you say that again? And I was like, all right.
I had a bunch of buddies who in high school came over from New York.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
man.
New York. You can always tell a New Yorker.
You can always tell them right away. They talk fast.
Yeah.
All the slang terms you don't even know what. Call everybody son. I'm trying to figure out what the big deal is. It was overwhelming almost to me because I got into PowerPoint mode doing all these PowerPoint presentations. I came from a tech school when I first started high school, so presentation after presentation after presentation, and so I learned how to try to articulate and get across things in a way where others could get it.
Right.
That was before all the head injuries. Now I stutter a bunch, but lingo is definitely interesting to get into, and I've always appreciated other people's accents. I've always tried to listen in instead of telling them, "Can you say it again?" I just try to keep up.
Yeah, and I think it all depends on who you're talking to for the most part. People can speak different languages just based on career. If you're talking to a tech guy, he can say some shit that you'd be like, wait, what is that? You know what I mean? And then when you're talking to a street guy, you know what I'm saying, he might have a different slang, you know what I mean? And a big part of that is just hip hop. I'm a huge hip hop fan, and you know what I'm saying, you can kind of pick up on verbiage depending on where people are from. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the barbershop, so I'm talking doctors, lawyers, dope dealers. You know what I'm saying? Not to speak about, no personal business with people, but you just deal with so many backgrounds, walks of life, that you kind of just start hearing like, damn, okay. You can just pick up on information every day. You know what I'm saying?
100%, brother.
Yeah.
I think that you definitely understand this, and any barber listener is going to understand as well. How many souls does one person in just one day touch? Right, that is a huge footprint that you leave behind.
Absolutely.
As a barber, as a human being that's interacting with others, because you are not just a barber, right? And this is something they really did a good job with in the barbershop talking about it. Mm-hmm. You're not just someone who's barber.
Right.
You're the therapist.
You mean the movie?
Yeah, brother. You're the therapist. You're there. You can recommend them to different business strategies. You can literally help guide somebody through the life just based off of who you've had sit in your chair and talk with you. The conversation is so powerful.
For sure. Yeah. And what's crazy about it is people always talk about the client to barber relationship. You know what I mean? Like how you deal with your barber, or what I'm saying, the stuff that you and your barber talk about. But clients come in, man, they hearing a whole shop conversation. So you getting to know, what this guy, what everybody, even clients, other people, it's literally like a network capsule. You know what I'm saying? It's a think tank to a degree. You know what I mean? Like you got all these different people in here that have all these different philosophies and ways that they look at life. So, man, you know what I'm saying? When it's a shop conversation going on, you got outspoken people, but then you got people that just rather just be reserved, and they don't really want to expose their hand in a lot of conversations. So, it's cool though, man, to see so many different people with ideas and the way they look at shit, because that's what made the world go around, man.
100%.
Information. That's the age we in right now.
I've always thought that you don't deal with any of the normal issues you see on the news or throughout Facebook or social media or whatever, any of these narratives that are passed down throughout the TVs or just even word of mouth. Those all disappear when you walk into a barbershop. You have every single skin color in there, race, religion, or creed.
Depending on what shop.
Depending on what shop.
There's some shops you walk in and it's pretty much one dimensional.
100%.
And that's what that's preferred in that community, right? So it's not a lot of. I don't want to say. I don't. Obviously, I wouldn't really know because I don't go to a lot of different shops.
Mhm.
My day-to-day action is at Chop It Up. So.
The best barbershop out there, might
For
I
sure.
say. Speaking
No
of which,
doubt.
man, what got you into cutting hair when it first started? When did it first start for you?
Man, I don't know, man. I mean, I just always was more of like an independent thinker for one, and just having examples of uncles like my uncle Chris, man. He was just a hustler, you know, for real. Like he was a hustler, and I don't, he was just a hustler, right?
100%.
And I used to be in the passenger seat with him, man, as a shorty, as a kid. You know what I'm saying? So I had the opportunity to kind of observe and just watch all the people that he was dealing with, and you know, it was a floor seat, man, to a major game. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
At the end of the day, I was super excited, even when it was time for us, to do a job of some type of landscaping. He always had something going on where we was pressure washing houses. Yeah, I was the he'd be sending me on all of the labor work. You know what I'm saying? But I learned a lot with that. So what I established was a work ethic, and I speak about that in my book. But work ethic is something that I'm just all the way dialed in with. I think as long as you got your health, um, you should you should always look at work as a privilege and beneficial. You know what I'm saying? So understanding early uh, and watching my granddaddy and everybody work, I was like, okay, yeah, I like working, but I realized like, going to the barbershop, and seeing the activity on how people made money and just the environment, I was like, man, I don't know. This is definitely something that I see myself doing and putting in the same amount of work I would out in the field in any other endeavor, you know what I'm saying? Because I was kind of well versed in doing, just doing different shit when I was young.
Mm.
And so when I looked at it, I was like, yeah, I can I can definitely see myself being a barber and being super productive. One of the biggest examples I tell people is I went into the barber shop one day. My barber was cutting, not to be long winded with this, but there was a guy that pulled up in front of the shop, had a very nice vehicle, stereo going crazy. It was obviously one of those things that when I seen it, I was impressed. He came into the shop, he pounded all the barbers up, fist bumped everybody, and went to the back. And I got my eye on everything because I don't know. I mean, is this dude like some type of, who is it? I don't know who it is. I'm getting my hair cut. And I asked my barber, I said, yo, man. Well, before I even did that, when I noticed he went to the back of the barber shop, one of the barbers handed him a wad of money. It was a nice knot. And when you see money, you want to know what's the transaction for.
Yes, and what the blueprint is.
Yeah, like, okay, yeah, I want, you know what I mean? What's up with my man? You know what I'm saying? So when I asked my barber, he said, "Oh, that's the owner of the shop." And so, I was already interested in cutting hair, but when I seen that, oh, there's an owner and he just collected money from the shop, from the business. Yeah, I like the way this worked. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yeah, this how this works. I definitely want to eventually one day own my own barbershop. And that was set in my mind when I was like 16.
Mm.
Yeah.
So I know that barbering is definitely not one of the only things you do. You are a man of many traits. I think you have your hands in a whole bunch of different avenues, and I think it's important to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
One of the quotes in your book that really stood out to me was, "How many times have you introduced yourself as, 'Hey, I'm a barber or a doctor or an engineer?' We become so involved and immersed in our daily work life that when we are posed with the question of who we are, we often respond in work related terms."
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that stands out to me as on a completely different level because with my 9 to 5 and with the veteran outreach I do with
just how I interact with other people, that is the exact same thing I ask. I say, well, what do you do for work? 9 times out of 10, I'm going to hear, oh, I'm a doctor,
Right.
or I'm a pediatrician, or I sell shoes. I work at this place.
Right.
I've never heard that same answer from somebody when I walk in to Chop It Up.
Right.
They always have multiple different, a multifaceted income.
Right.
I think it's essential, especially in this economy, in this day and age, to be an entrepreneur, or to have those tendencies as a human being,
for sure,
in order to grow at all.
In 2023, man, you gotta have your hands in a lot of different stuff. We obviously seen that from the pandemic, right?
Yes, brother.
Like we witnessed something that for sure I never thought that I would see here in America. And so, it was a huge eye opener, and that was actually when I finished my book during that time. You know what I'm saying? And it was a blessing to be able to have something to do, man. You know what I mean? And obviously, I got other things going on, but it was a perfect time for me to just dial in on something that I've been trying to get done for so long. And yeah, but that's a very, very well worded part of my book that I felt, and obviously what I've done over the years, like from 2009, I'd say about 2007, honestly, I started really just trying to get as much information as I possibly could, just from self education, self improvement. I came across that information, trying to self improve. And so it led me into a direction of doing a business called ACN. It's are you familiar with that?
Oh, no, sir.
Yeah, it's one of those underground things that you kind of got. It's like a word of mouth thing. It's
Okay.
a MLM, multi-level marketing company. And what they do is, you subscribe to a membership to get qualifications to sell a product. And when you in Rich Dad Poor Dad, they speak about this. And that's a really good book. I was recommended that. One of my guys, I'll never forget. I was in the shop cutting, and that was one of the books that was recommended to me. And in that book, he specifically says, man, I mean, everybody should at one point in their life get involved with an MLM, multi-level marketing company, because what you learn is they call it a compensation plan along with education. So basically, you learn a lot of things, but you get the opportunity to make money while you're learning. And college is cool, school is cool, but I like being in the field. I like being on the job. I like learning that way. And one of my business partners, he's actually an engineer. You know what I'm saying? And but he's my business partner in the barber game. You know what I'm saying? He's actually done multi-level marketing with me. Um, so and we bought a piece of real estate. We bought a building over in Detroit. And shout out to Q. So I know that there's so many different people that once they lock themselves in with a specific career, it seems like they build their whole life around it. And that's cool for them. But when people ask me advice, I'm like, man, the worst thing you could do is just be one dimensional out here. And that's basically what that meant.
Yeah, having just one career avenue is ridiculous. I tell Jackson all the time, dude, if you think that you're gonna ever get by just having one idea and have it just be successful, the ideology behind that is flawed.
Right.
And he's only 11, but he can grasp that. Because if I go shooting with him and I say, okay, I want you to make sure you breathe out before you take this shot because it's further than the last one.
Yeah.
Or I want you to really find that pause between heartbeats. I'm having him focus on different levels. That's a hyper focus way to live. A lot of people hyper focus on their job and they do build a life around it. And that is a horrible idea because if you die tomorrow, your employer will replace you in a heartbeat.
Immediately. almost.
I've seen it happen with
Yeah.
with my friends. Unfortunately, last year I lost two of my coworkers. One to suicide, and one he just died in his sleep. He was a veteran, and
Oh man.
he just passed away. And he had a heart condition, and it broke my heart to see how quickly they're like, oh my god, we got to fill a slot. And I'm like, are you guys serious? You're saying this
Yeah.
in front of everybody
I
right
mean,
now?
business must go on.
Yeah, business must go on, and that's why I think it's essential for people not to identify as their job.
Yeah, shout out to Justin, man, over here already in the game, man, learning what he's got going on.
Yeah, he's balling out, man. I think it's gonna be really interesting when he figures out, because he's thought about doing YouTube.
Yeah.
And his first idea was doing Nerf videos. And I say, okay, well, you start with Nerf videos. What else? What other videos going to do? I say, no, just Nerf videos. I say, okay, well, let's mix it up. And then he talked about doing gaming videos, right? Okay, you want to do gaming videos? Let's take a look at what the industry looks like there. Show me a vacuum. How many? And I just asked him, how many different gamers do you see on YouTube that you watch?
Right.
Why are you watching them? Turn that off.
Yep.
You put out content.
Yeah.
You be the person to watch.
For sure.
And
not only that, man, he's you being in front of the camera and everything, that's one aspect. But the fact that he knows how to, engineer to a degree, man. I mean, he's learning so many different things just in the process of trying to do that.
Yes, brother.
Like, you know what I'm saying? He learned at every level of the game. So, that's a huge benefit, man, moving forward in life, man. All that stuff gonna be muscle memory by the time he's, later in life or whatever.
100%. And hopefully that he's
everybody. Justin is.
Yeah, Jackson is only 11 years old. Yeah.
Is it Justin?
Jackson.
Oh, Jackson.
First time meeting him.
All right, my bad, bro.
We're gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
You just met him just now.
He's how old?
He's only 11.
That's super impressive, man. I mean, behind the keys and handling business over there, bro.
Yeah. He's a superstar. He's gonna be really great. Whether it's jiu-jitsu, shooting with me, he wants to be on a SWAT team when he grows up. Multifaceted. You have to have different keys. Who do you have a network of people who you regularly meet with to confer and discuss future ideas? Do you bounce your ideas off people that you look up to?
Yeah. Honestly, man, I refer to information from, and it's rough to say this, but all my influences is, people that I don't directly have direct contact with. My motivation is my team, everybody that I talk to pretty much every day. I got over, I don't know. First of all, I got over 50 business partners, bro. You know what I'm saying? We got a whole machine going on with my business and stuff. But for the most part, I get inspired by pretty much everybody I deal with. I don't really play a lot of games and deal with people that's wasting time. And I'm not into just being entertained with people's antics of games and shit like that, man. I'm really about business. I went through a life-changing situation back in 2006. You know what I'm saying? I almost lost my life to just being out trying to just do what I consider just do too much. You know how we throw that term around where it's like, man, you're doing too much. Yeah, I would consider too much. Being in the wrong place, wrong time, being around the wrong people, doing the wrong shit. And I got shot, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's the first thing I went over in my book. But for the most part, that was a situation after coming out of a coma and going through all that therapy to get well again, to get back to work. I was just like, man, I'm not about to play out here with nobody, period. My sense of humor changed a lot. I became a lot more serious. You know what I'm saying? Just I was already kind of serious because I was in business already for a year. And it was kind of like I was just celebrating. But for the most part, after that, yeah, I was like, nah, I gotta really analyze what I got going on every day, and that's what I do.
100%, brother. That's you kind of talked about it nonchalantly, but that's like a serious thing that happened to you.
Yeah.
You know, but right now you're walking in your second chance at this life.
Definitely.
I really do admire your idea of being tenacious with all your activities, with everything you pursue it like it's life or death. I think that you have to go through those dark places to find the light.
Unfortunately, man, I be feeling like, damn, man, I wish, you know, I don't wish bad upon nobody, but you just notice how people just play. I don't know. I don't even know no other way to explain it. But when you go through, and don't get it twisted, bro. There's people out here that go through the same thing and they get right back to the bullshit.
Mhm.
They get right back to it, whatever it is that they're doing. They don't really tighten up and change their life and do all that. They get right back and go out and do the same thing and have an even worse result.
Stuck
Right?
in the loop.
Yeah, man. And so, I do everything with intent and I have a purpose in everything I'm trying to do, bro. I'm not gonna be here forever. And so I try to have an imprint for sure.
100%. You did quote and talk about. I just want to pull up another quote that I picked out
Mhm.
that really kind of sums up my idea of how you operate. Right. It's better to walk alone than surround yourself with people who are full of negativity and continuously thawing away at your determination to reach your highest level of success.
Yeah.
To say something like that and to put it out to the world, you have to be really not self-conscious, but self-aware.
Exactly.
You have to understand that your mistakes can lead to horrible, serious things. And I always find that I can learn the most from people who have who have had really fucking low valleys and really, really high highs. Yep. And more low valleys.
Yep.
Experience is not something that you can ever pay for. I don't think there's any dollar amount that you can put on the mindset that you have right now.
Hell no. I don't think so, man. I'm so like confident in the shit that I'm gonna get done, bro. Like I've never, as of right now, I don't even want nothing unless I feel like I can have it. That's how dead serious I'm about. Like the things that I want to get done. Because I know that there's stages, there's levels to everything that you're trying to accomplish. Why would I want to purchase Bill Gates' house when I know that I'm not making Bill Gates money?
Mm.
I know people will be like, "Oh, you got to set your goals." You know what I'm saying? And I got a whole chapter on setting goals in the book. So to me, everything got to be realistic. When I find myself getting a little bit, unrealistic with my goals, I try to redirect and dial back and be like, all right, you gotta first you need to do this and this and this. And so, um, for sure, bro, like when you go through things low, like you said, the highs and lows, you know what you're capable of. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, it takes for you to go through these things in order for you to know what you can accomplish at the end of the day.
100%.
And the more you go down, bounce up, and bounce back, the more you understand like how to deal with it the next time.
Yes, brother.
You know what I mean?
So I definitely agree with you 110%. I mean, a lot of people tell me, "Oh, you can't have 110% agreement." I said, "Fuck off." Yes, I can. It's because I disagree with things to that point as well. In life, perspective is huge. Um, Not being surrounded by those negative people who are literally dragging you down is a really big issue that we're having right now. And I don't want to get up on my high horse of talking about social justice and stuff like that.
Right.
But we look at people that look like you and me. What the hell is going on with our youth? Why are the so those people in your life that are dragging you down? I remember thinking back to my youth, how easily influential the idea of being better as far as society standards was. Society standards was get money, fuck bitches, get whatever you want in life. And I think that can be a major distraction for me. I had a lot of great mentors in my life tell me and try to steer me away from that idea, that mindset. The mindset must be powerful to have powerful, results in life. Mm-hmm. You have to invest in order to take away from that investment when you get a profit in life. I don't think that you can devote as much energy and expect the same success as someone who's working double as hard as you. It's physically impossible. I know that when we look at our youth right now, they are so easily influenced by
Right.
life.
Definitely.
What is a great way that we as human beings, as grown ass men in this world, can do? What can we do to have a positive impression on the youth?
Um, relate to them. We all been youth before. I was 17. I got an 18-year-old. I mean, we got two other step kids that are a little older now that went through and did what they did in life, and they're very much successful. I would consider right now, but um, with my son, man, I just see some of the things that he do, and I'm like, man, I lead by example for one as a parent of what I feel that I'm not perfect by no means. You know what I'm saying? But I have these conversations with him. And one of the things that I let him know is, hey man, I'm just completely honest with him. As a youngster coming up, I made a lot of mistakes, but I don't know why, man. I just always been goal orientated. I feel like if you got your North Star of where you want to be in life and what you want to do, the sooner you understand that, the better. Like, again, I told you that I wanted to be a barber and I wanted to own my own barbershop. So that always kept me moving in a certain direction. I mean, I realized, like, okay, well, I want to be a barber. So fuck high school, right? So I dropped out. And I realized when I went to barber school, they're like, well, you need a GED or you need a diploma in order to go. So I had to go back and I ended up just getting my diploma because I was only 1 year out. I dropped out at, almost, what I'm saying, in my senior year. Pretty much, I had already had everything wrapped up with my junior year. I just had a few more credits to get. So I ended up having to go back and knocking that out, but I did. And, I just didn't want to take that shortcut because I felt like later in life I wanted to be able to say I was a high school graduate. Um, I think that that's huge. It shows the world that you're not a quitter. Graduating from high school, I'm so proud of my son because he's working on that. And again, some of the mistakes that I've made when I was his age, I'm glad he's not making them. But I would just say, man, it starts in the home. It starts with where you grew up and where you were parented. How you was raised. Again, man, I was raised by people that already raised 7 kids. So I had good morals. I had I knew about the Bible. I knew about respect. I would say yes, ma'am, no, sir. These type of things. And when I got older, in my own lane, and I started, when I got out here to Washington, I started living on my own and moving out fast, and just doing different shit. And I tried to throw away those principles, and I realized my life was changing a lot when I tried to stop saying yes, ma'am, and you know what I'm saying, showing those little things to people that can see. You can tell the difference between a youngster that might say yes, sir, and a nigga, and a guy that say yeah,
Yeah, 100%.
or what up, and hey, how you doing?
Yes.
It's terminology and things that these youngsters have to be installed. That information is not easy to come across.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know the importance of it.
Yes, brother.
And so for the youth, and I'm talking about a specific age group because again, when you're growing up, man, you definitely have to go through shit. Um, and I commend everybody, man. It's almost like depending on where you live, your background, you know, all of these things are circumstances that people grew up around and in. I know partners right now that grow up in different circumstances and they don't get the opportunities. They have to take a step out in the world and say, man, fuck this. I'm gonna move all the way away from this. And if you don't know somebody somewhere to move, what do? You end up staying there your whole life because you're too scared to make the move. A lot of people choose the military route. and that was a consideration that I even thought about because I was like, man, I need to be able to get help. And unfortunately, man, a lot of people don't get the resources unless they, do something dramatic. And sometimes that requires a lot of, for lack of a better word right now, a lot of nuts.
100%.
And for females,
A lot of
imagine
ovaries,
that.
man.
Imagine a female that's around an environment as a youth, as a younger person that want better for herself. And what do you say? How do you look at it?
I look at the youth as the polar opposite of how politicians usually look at youth. A lot of people in the political world look at youth as a tool to be used for the future of their clique or their their. I get the whole idea
Their
of
agenda.
our side versus their side and this demographic versus that demographic. I get trying to earn the black vote, but beyond just a vote, we are as a culture in the black community especially, we are so all over the place diverse. We're not, you can't just say black people are this
Right.
or black people are that. It's impossible. So that ideology is flawed. I look at kids right now as what is these children as a whole, what trends are they following and what trends are they setting? Children right now are doing phenomenal things.
Yeah.
Kids right now care about the environment. Holy shit. What would life be like if we cared about the environment? They want to do the right thing. Generally they do. There's a couple bullies out there still. There are, and it sucks. I see it. Jackson has to deal with it. Unfortunately, fortunately, Jackson's not going to allow himself to be bullied, no matter how much the school creates that environment that supports him being bullied.
And I think that was because of having obvious you involved with his life, right?
Yes,
I'm sure you instilling a lot of good, mindset
I hope so.
for him.
I hope
You
so.
know what I'm saying? So when you can confidently say he's not tolerating that, I'm sure you know why, right?
100%, my brother.
Yeah.
The youth are the youth of the future.
For sure.
Do we
For
let
sure.
our future be literally get surrounded and jumped by 6 other kids? I don't think so. The future is not afraid to stick up for what it believes in and stick up for that person. They're not going to be blanked into submission or treated poorly.
Yeah, man.
So that the support of that youth and creating that hardened mindset of, listen, somebody might come and pick on you one day, and I don't want you to be a sheep, a coward. I don't want you to be a wolf and bully others.
Yeah.
So you need to understand that this is going to happen, and that's where the honesty that you brought up comes into play. You need to be fierce, a protector of your friends. You need to not ever raise a hand to strike somebody unless it's equally warranted, right? Don't just strike out in anger because you're upset.
How do you feel about the hip hop world? Do you feel like they influence the youth a lot?
Yes. I cannot get him to, when he's upset, to stop listening to Eminem and NF. I can't get him to when he's just feeling happy. Yeah. I can't get him to stop listening to King Von. And there we go. We have another artist, and this is not talking. I don't want to diss on his grave and everything, but this is just talking about the hip hop culture. If you don't have that filter, them 808s are gonna bump. You're gonna love the beat. You're gonna love how confident they are. Those are leaders. Confidence is attractive to human beings in general. So they're gonna get that confidence, and they're gonna say, "Oh, this is a leader." My parents are very careful about what they say. This guy's out with it. He's not afraid. That's what I want to be strong like him. And then they support and believe in these guys who literally say, "Go and kill another nigga on 63rd," because why? It's for the set. It's for O Block, right?
Hey man,
that's a flawed ideology.
It definitely is, and I think that for one, man, I'm not even gonna front. I like that shit. I like the hardcore music.
100%. Me too.
I like the 50 Cents of the world, the Yo Gottis, the Jeezys. I like, you know what I'm saying? I like listening to that, but I use it as motivation. I apply those towards the business world. I'm not looking at it as I need to go out here and kill my brother.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? Or kill another nigga in the streets just because. And you know what I'm saying? I mean, when you young, you think it's literally like that. But for the most part, a lot of these dudes are just talking shit for entertainment. I mean, the movies do it. You know what I'm saying? If you watch Scarface or if you watch anything, I think that influenced at one point in time. You know what I'm saying? And that's what probably drove the music to the level that it is. And so all these different things transition over time. But at this point in time, with social media and the fact that everybody has the ability to educate, just like you with your platform, if you explain the difference between entertainment and reality, if you can actually connect with the youth, I think that that can make an impact.
Mm.
One of the people that I see doing that, he being hated on a lot, but Charleston White. You familiar with him?
No, sir.
You know, he speaks against hip hop and all of that, but he listens to hip hop.
Yeah.
But I think that his message is pretty much, man, to just get people to,
Create a filter of some sort.
you know what I'm saying? I mean, I think he just seen how much damage hip hop has created already. And so it's kind of like, man, you know, I wouldn't take that approach just because it's like, you, as long as kids know to separate reality from entertainment, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I think that that's what the key is. You can apply that same mentality to in the political world when you're trying to, you know, make moves. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's motivational when you're trying to work out, when you're trying to accomplish a goal, like opening up a business, or you know, you going to work, but you need some type of inspiration. Yeah, it could draw a little bit of anger, but you know, anger makes you a little bit sometimes, as long as you're not directing anger towards another individual specifically, you should direct it towards a mission, an accomplishment.
Be a beast.
Be a beast.
You know, ET says it all the time.
Yeah.
You want it, everybody wants to be a beast until it's time to do what beasts do.
Yeah.
Beasts wake up early as
man.
hell. Like
Yeah.
I
you think
I earn
Marshawn
these
Lynch want to
bangs.
hear fucking when he going out there running over motherfuckers on the football field? You think
Carly
he ain't-
Rae Jepsen,
he
Taylor
ain't trying to
Swift.
get his mindset? Yeah.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like,
yeah,
he
brother.
got to get his mindset there, bro. And you know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with channeling it.
Mm.
And so, like, when you got people educating people about that type of shit, and then other things, man, just knowing where you came from, knowing what your people had to do, knowing your history of where you from and the shit you know people had to go through. You got to live up to things and step up to the plate and be a man or a woman that serves a good purpose and strength. But I just think, man, the entertainment has to be. You got to realize that when shit is entertainment and when it's not.
100%.
And I think that's one of the things with the youth that they need to be educated on. To be honest with you,
I think it'll make a big
but
difference.
I don't see nothing wrong with it as long as they educated them.
Yes,
That's just
and I can get down with that
approach on it.
I mean, I get down, man. I can listen to King Von, man. It's so catchy.
I never even
man.
listened to his music, but you know, he's one of the newer generation rappers. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little older, man, so I'm from the 2000 era. You know what I'm saying? Chronic 2001, and you know all of that. You know, the Pastor Troys of the world, all of that.
Oh,
is
Pastor Troy, man.
Pastor Troy turn you up.
That
You know,
yeah.
but he talks about it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, 50 is one of my favorite artists. You know how, you know what I'm saying? His first album was gangster as hell, but at the same time, does it make you go out and kill somebody?
Probably
Or
not.
does it make you go out and try to bring harm to somebody else? If it does, you're easily influenced. A little bit too easy.
Yes.
Influence. If you're not understanding that, you know what I'm saying, there's a thin line between reality and fucking entertainment.
And I think it comes with time too, learning those lessons
Yeah,
for me especially.
exactly, definitely.
I had to learn to be ungovernable.
Right.
And ungovernable applies to a lot of things. I think that every
and you was in the military, so
yes, brother.
So, you know, your perspective is probably way different than a lot of people.
Yes. I had so many great leaders in the military who taught me different things. I had people who told me how to deal with death in my family, loss, how to compartmentalize when you're
Compartmentalize.
Yes,
it's a good word.
It's just, I think it's essential. It's essential
Hell
to hold
yeah.
on to and to understand what compartmentalization. My lesson in compartmentalization was my dad dying over the course of 3 days. I was stuck off the coast of I was deployed. And my wife, my girlfriend at the time, held his hand for 3 days while I was stuck on a ship, feeling trapped, feeling like I was losing my fucking mind.
that was my idea of learning how to compartmentalize. I had somebody tell me, "Hey, brother, you gotta just stay tight. Don't do anything fucking reckless or stupid. Just breathe. I'm here for you. We're all here for you." I had 180 people in my department, 180 young sailors, surround me with love and compassion for my situation, and I had a lot of leaders who were in the military over 20 years. They were away from their families for 20 years. Surround me with love in that moment. So imagine 5,000 individuals on a ship, all hearing through gossip that my dad was dying and cared about me enough to just leave me alone or give me a hug or put their hand on my shoulder for a second before their eyes swim with tears and walk away. And other people walk up and say, "Hey man, I've gone through the same shit. I want you to not do anything fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Don't get lost and don't get depressed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go unplug from the military for a second and just breathe."
Sure. Yeah.
I watched the water for a while. I watched the sunrise, the sunset, and I
Therapeutic
breathed, man. Therapeutic shit. Yeah. You never know therapy until you see the sunrise over the water over Florida or in Iraq or anywhere.
Yeah.
Anywhere. That beauty, man. And it's overwhelming how small you feel and small your problems feel.
When you realize how big this fucking world is.
Yeah.
Universe.
And that compartmentalization, man, that was my lesson. Not everybody's gonna feel that way. So when I compartmentalize shit, you can tell me almost anybody but 3 people in my life right now are dying, and I won't freak out.
Yeah.
I'll just be like, all right.
Was there a point that you did?
Oh yeah. Oh, I freaked the fuck out.
That.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Everybody. I mean, I hate to say it, but some people get numb to it. I think that's a little bit different than compartmentalizing it. What do you think?
You being seasoned in death it's a
you gotta understand death. When my dad just died, my pops just passed away in last year.
My condolences, my brother. That sucks.
In December actually, but it was one of them things where I didn't see people die in my family, and I just had to get to that point where, man, I'm not about to. I cannot like let this stop my responsibilities. I got responsibilities. I can't be stuck on that shit. I got responsibilities. So, again, your word compartmentalize, I just realized what that is now. Put that there, because, the time and place was then. Gotta move on.
It's talked about in just the way you brought it up in the movie Act of Valor.
Yeah.
The Navy SEAL movie that came out back in 2011. It came out right before I left for the Navy, and I watched it. And compartmentalization was a big lesson there. And there's a saying: "We are men of boxes."
Yeah.
Put that shit in a box and lock it down. Handle what you need to handle, and then family time when it's family time. I've taken that to an extreme a lot of times where it's been a fault of mine, and I've apologized to my wife and my family a lot for those moments. But it really is a Les Brown statement. I'm not gonna let this destroy me. I'm coming back.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be better and stronger because of it. That's one of my favorite quotes by Les Brown. He's huge. He's inspiration of mine as well. I think that you brought up MLMs earlier, and I've been surrounded by them in times in my life, and a lot of people have bad perspectives about it and good perspectives. Pyramid scheme or whatever.
I did too.
I would call it business college.
It
for
really
those who want to get their masters, and those who want to come back as an instructor as well. There's an option to come back as a professor, and it's not for everybody, but the lessons, man,
it's for people that don't
everybody.
have intentions on ever trying to go to college, but it's still like, again, you work at your own pace. Is one of them things where as long as you pay attention to the information that they give you, you're gonna get something out of it. I did for sure.
Amen.
Once I seen what they was, what the whole business structure was and how it was built, I was like, oh shit, man, this is literally what they've done with the McDonald's enterprise, with the fucking Walmart, with these big corporations that grow. It's the same concept. Right? It might be, different structure, but it's the same concept.
Yeah, the product might be different, but the blueprint is similar.
The mindset that you have to have, you got to be willing to work with other people. You got to step out of your box. You can't work by yourself and accomplish high level shit. It just ain't gonna happen, bro. 100%. I know Jay-Z got a quote. I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman.
Mhm.
So he says, I'm not a businessman. He's literally a business.
Yes.
So like whatever he does, it's a business. He's a business.
Yes.
So if everybody took that mindset, I think I don't know if the world would be functional. You know what I'm saying? Because there's some people that have that ability, and there's just some people that don't.
Yes.
And you
some
got to
people
know
just
your
don't.
position in life, man. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
If you really gonna be a top dog and be reliable, be a leader, all that type of stuff, bro. There's so much responsibility. I just feel like you got to outgrow the outfit. You got to outgrow the shoes. If you don't outgrow them, man, and you know what I'm saying, your shoes fit, then shit, just wear them, man. Get a new pair, but shit, keep them fresh. Do your job the best you can do, but don't try to jump out of your lane and try to do shit that you really can't do,
Mhm.
because you're gonna slow your own progress down. And I've seen that.
So leveling up realistically is one thing that you say that others should definitely try to approach, because you've been in the industry of entrepreneurship and
Yeah.
making your own money with multiple businesses
Yeah.
for a while.
Yeah.
So you would say that level up as you can. So if you only got a $200
Yeah.
in your bank account,
Yeah.
don't use your $1,000 credit card and go and max it out when you can't make those payments.
I mean, shit. Sometimes you got to do that though.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes you got to just take that. You got to believe in what you're doing to the point where you like, man, when I use this 1,000, yeah, I can't afford it, but I foresee in the future. First of all, it's only 1,000, so it's only gonna hurt me so much. It's mathematics. You gotta, weigh out the pros and cons of it, right? But I need this 1,000. I don't want to ask nobody for $1,000. I want to be independent with this. I want to do this shit, and I gotta take this chance. So yes, it's possible that I might not get this bread back, and it might go to the creditors, and I might be in deep shit, and I might end up paying $3,000 just for using this 1,000. But you get the experience. You got to pay 3,000 for the experience, but when you move on to the next thing, or when you get that understanding of, damn, I use that 1,000, I'm not gonna do that again. I might switch it up next time. I might go about it a different way. But
Also, another thing is, are you worth it?
yeah,
Are you capable of fulfilling that need? Do you believe in yourself enough to do that? This is a big lesson for Jackson as well that I often bring up is who do you see when you look in the mirror? Are you capable of doing great and powerful things? If not, then be mad. Be mad at yourself. Be mad for success. Why am I not good enough? And do it. It's usually an easy answer when you ask yourself.
bro.
Yes.
Gotta keep it 100 with yourself. You know what I'm saying? If you don't keep it 100 with yourself, you can't expect other people to. Man.
Yes,
real
brother.
shit. You know what I'm saying?
Something you brought up in your book that I loved as well, and I made sure to highlight it. I'm a highlighter when I read because I got real bad dyslexia.
No doubt. No, it's
so the
all
biggest lessons I highlight, I underline, I put stars.
Yeah,
I have different color codes for when I'm
sure.
learning, gaining new knowledge. But this is huge. I can admit that if I'm against you, I'm downright against you.
Yeah.
It's all out war for me. I'm not interested in fake friendships and smiling faces that come along with people who want to compete but won't admit it. Call me old school, but I kind of live by that term. If you're not with me, then you must be against me. I find that to be one of the major truths in life that I've experienced.
People beat around the bush about shit, man. But I just don't fuck with people that don't fuck with me, man.
My wife's experienced that too, and I'm not here to tell her story, but
Yeah.
she says that there's been times where people I've watched it, so I'm not gonna speak on her light, but I've watched people talk to her with this overwhelming fake smile. Oh, it's so great that you do it. I'm like, what the hell are you, little robot lady? If you don't, if
sometimes you can't peep
say it, right?
Sometimes you can't peep it, but you gotta. You can get that gut feeling about most people that you dealing with, and just shrewd. You know what I'm saying? People are fucking clear most of the time about the way they think about you and what they think about you. But if you want to sit there and try to win people over with that mentality, I don't see the point in that. I've tried it, and I'm just at a point where that shit is a waste of time.
100%.
I just don't. Most of the time, you're gonna lose every time. when you're dealing with people that you know do not have your best interest. You know it, but you hoping that you can find a way to make it different. You know what I'm saying? And
Hope don't float.
it just don't fucking work like that. They
Hope-
gotta learn a lesson and then possibly come a little more correct when they're dealing with you. My thing is, come correct when you're dealing with me, bro. I'm coming correct when I'm dealing with you. So as long as it's reciprocated, I'm cool with that.
Just basically keep it 100. Yeah, hope. Like walks up to a fire, looks at it, and says, looks around to see if anybody else wants to walk through it, and walks around it carefully. You know,
Yeah.
tiptoe through the fire. Faith strides through the tough situations, and you can always count. You can always tell when someone has faith in you because they go out of their way to show you, even if it's just a change in how they're talking to you.
And exactly, bro. But they don't go out of their way to not show you too. Some people
100%.
just haters, man.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's just the bottom line of it, man. You know what I mean? And sometimes they want to evaluate you. They want to see where your morals are. They checking your temperature, which is cool. But I'm checking yours too. Just know that. I see you checking mine, but I'm checking yours too.
Mm-hmm.
People think you dumb, like you don't know what the fuck they up to. And some people don't. Some people really naive. You know what I'm saying? Like that could be a situation like you was mentioning with your wife or something. Maybe she sees it, but she's like, being naive to the situation just because whatever. Not, again, not to speak on that, but I've done it. I think everybody have done it. But some people never learn from that shit.
Oh, my wife be seeing it too. She'll be in the middle of a conversation. She'll look over at me and
okay. So she sees it.
You know the sentry gun in Call of Duty?
Yeah.
She do that with her neck. She'll like just turn over to me and
yeah.
Bitch.
Yeah. Yep.
I love her so much, man. She definitely got it figured out, my brother. That is definitely something that I'm very, very passionate about as well, man. Just growth in life. I wish that I had more people like you when I was growing up as a young child of knowledge. I had one source of mental, I call it mental income, right? Someone who's literally feeding you financial knowledge of just life, like life lessons. I think that time is the best currency there is.
For
there's
sure.
There's no better gift you can give anybody in this world but time.
Your word too. That's a good currency. Your word.
Yes.
That shit exceeds. I think time is crucial though, but to me, your word is everything, bro. If you can't follow through on some shit that you said, or if you're just not honest about when you can't honestly keep it or whatever, it just means everything, man. Well, to me at least.
To me as well. I agree with you.
Time is crucial, but we all limited on time. But I think your word and your legacy, even after you're gone, who you were with your word and your morals and shit like that is going to far exceed time.
Do you believe in second chances when people ghost you or miss opportunities or just miss appointments with you, or when they waste your time? Do you believe in second chances?
You mean like customers?
Or just
what do you mean?
Just human beings. So if I say, hey man, I really would love to take some time to learn more from you. I want you to invest free knowledge into me, and I came to and I didn't show up.
Well, I'm gonna use this as an example. I'm gonna just say like today I was crazy busy. I had some real shit going on earlier, and I was like, I'm not gonna miss this podcast today. It's too important. My word is too important. I do not want you saying, yeah, man, I had a situation set up with Merv. He couldn't make it. Listen, something had to really happen for me not to be here today.
I appreciate that,
brother. That's what I mean, man. It's just like, bro, like if you say you're gonna do some shit, just do the shit, bro. Step out of your bubble or whatever the fuck you got going on when you think that it's not important. If you think that it's not that serious, you know what I'm saying? Some people just think that, oh yeah, it's all good. I'll double back and he'll understand next time. Nah, man. You don't get a second. And I'm gonna quote 50 Cent right now. You don't get a second chance on a first impression.
Ugh.
Right?
Absolutely.
So
there's a lot of wisdom behind what he said.
I don't play about that.
Yes, brother.
That's real shit.
One of the lessons I always scream at Jackson when he's really acting reckless. Stand in your motherfucking word, man.
Facts.
Stand on it.
Yeah.
Like,
It,
It's
stand on
really
it.
that easy. If you say
Unless it's a life changing situation. I mean,
Well,
unless you
yes.
fucking in the hospital or you
100%.
really got some shit going on. Like,
Yeah.
and I want to see proof of that.
Uh-huh. Yeah. But
Yeah,
like,
give
unless
me
you're
give me the proof, bro.
Yeah.
If that's what it is, I mean, don't just tell me that because you feel like it's cool to lie and say some shit like that. I mean, I think that's bad karma, but and I don't know about karma and all that, but just justify your actions if you can't follow through. Fucking word.
Definitely, man. And I think about times in my life where I've felt the need. I was so insecure about the person I was that I felt the need to make up a lie to excuse my piss poor performance.
Mm-hmm.
Where I woke up late, even though I had I set at least 7 alarms every day to make sure I'm gonna wake up for one of these motherfuckers. But
yeah,
like
so you that hard on yourself?
Yes,
I'm not. I can internalize in my mind like, okay, yeah, I was supposed to do that yesterday, but I'll do it. It depends on how serious it is.
I
but
agree.
when it comes to other people, I'm holding them accountable way more than I'm holding myself because I get my shit done regardless. But when you're dealing with a circumstance of I got to adjust my life, I got to move my time around. This is when your time thing comes into play, right? I expect, depending on the circumstance, is how I hold your word. It depends on the circumstances. If you miss a haircut and you don't let me know, all right, cool. You do it again, all right, and you don't let me know, it's like, damn, bro, you just disrespecting me at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck the time that you disrespecting me. Fuck my time. I just think your word is shit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even want to really deal with you.
In your pockets.
I don't want your energy around me. Your energy. Negative energy, bro. Again, I try to just stay away from it. I don't mind if you deal with somebody else. I could be standing 5 feet away from you, but man, you really, you know what I'm saying? I ain't got to deal with you. I'll let them deal with you. I don't want to deal with you though.
100%, man.
You know what I mean?
And that's I think that's an essential part of life. Being able to check yourself and say, am I worth more than I'm being treated? And I know it might sound corny, but Lizzo does this that statement in her song. I think it's called "To Be Loved" or "Am I Ready?" I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, one of the two. But she says, "Am I really ready to be loved?"
Mm.
She puts out all these other songs about loving herself,
Yeah.
and then she takes a second still to check: am I ready to be loved? Do I love myself enough to be loved by somebody else? I found it out the hard way through life that you can never expect somebody else to be there for you or be with you in a relationship or to mentor you unless you're actively wanting to mentor, love, and be with yourself. The relationship you have with the person in the mirror is essential. Am I feeding myself positive energy? Am I treating myself properly? Am I waking up? Do I care about how I smell? Like a lot of motherfuckers out there, they be stinking. If you out there,
bro.
if you out there and you stinking,
self-awareness.
you got to get that shit together,
bruh. Self-awareness, man.
And oh god, it kills me, man. Like people will walk into a gym, especially the gym, where you go to there to be better, and you stinking. Oh, hell no.
You invading people's space and shit.
Oh,
you smell like ass and all that.
Man.
Keep that shit away from me, man.
Keep that shit away.
I don't do that with people, man. Like, yeah, bro. You gotta run your personal space and your life and your time and your energy. You gotta run that shit like a business, bro. You don't, if you don't expect people to, I walk into certain businesses and I'm like, man, it's what keep me motivated to keep my shit sharp in the barbershop I work at. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, would I want to come in here to get a haircut? It's like, if you invite somebody to your crib, like, it's just like, bro, you ain't got the decency to clean up and do, make your shit presentable, at least to a degree, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's just a lot of shit that people could. I mean, I don't want to be like I'm fucking too bougie or shit like that. That ain't what that's about.
Mhm.
Um, because I've been in environments that I feel uh that I want to be in because of the energy and whatever it is. So I'm not judgmental in that aspect. You know, when I speak about that, it's not that I'm being judgmental. It's just I understand what it is. I get what it is. I know where I'm at. I know what I'm doing, and I know why I'm here.
Mm.
Right. But at the end of the day, when I'm doing shit every day, I'm not doing that shit every day. I'm not over here every day, so I'm not tripping, and I'm not over here on no, you know, business shit anyway. You know what I'm saying? I'm more likely in this environment because it's just what I'm doing right now.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? That makes
100%.
sense.
Yes. And
Yeah.
I think it's important to have standards too for the places you go. I have been in a trap house
Yeah, there you
with
go.
motherfuckers smoking dope in the garage, and I walk upstairs and I look around and I'm like, and I found my boy and I'm like, what the ever loving fuck are you doing with your life?
But you know why you there though.
I know why I'm
You
there
you
though.
you know what I'm saying? If it's that serious, then you just turn around and leave.
And you know,
So
and
that's
what I
not
did.
that's
And
my
that's why I did.
that,
I was like,
that's my point of
I'm out.
why I'm not trying to be judgmental. It's just like, bro, I get it. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I get it. Shit. But if I'm there, then that means that I respect the situation.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? But it depends on the situation. It depends on what's going on.
100%. And but those times, right? Those environments you walk into where you know it's not a positive thing for your future.
Yeah.
Like I've always had those feelings since I was a kid. The self awareness. Am I in the right spot at the right time doing the right thing? What would it look like if I was caught by the cops right now? Or what would it look like if my kids saw me doing this? If it was like in a film one day?
Yeah.
That's a scary thought, right? For me, because me and my wife have a plan on having kids this year, and the self awareness thing is really really going through my head of who am I? Who do I look up to in my life? Am I the person I want to be tomorrow?
Yeah. There you go.
How do I get there? I would hate to have the same perspective I had as a youth, where everything's acceptable and you can just do whatever you want to do, and you don't need to respect others. You just need to try to make money in whatever way possible. And if someone gets in your way, you fucking run through them. And
Yeah.
I get it's a treacherous life, but I don't feel that same way towards everybody. In this day and age,
Right.
I'm more at peace with who I am. And it took me a time to find that.
Shit. That's all that matters, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that matters.
100%. What have you thought about the future? Because I know that there's a whole bunch of different things. I want to make sure we cover them after this as well. But what does your future look? What is who are you chasing in your future? What does the future you look like?
That's crazy, man. I haven't really too much thought about it. Only because I am living currently in my future, and I'm so happy with it. I mean, I just 40 years old, man. The shit that I wanted done by 40 is done. I got that shit done, and I'm happy and I'm chilling. Uh, could things be better? Uh, could things be better? Shit. Based on the circumstances of what I am conscious of and I've been conscious of, and where I see things, where I seen things 5 years ago, where I seen things 2 years ago, where I seen things last year, all the way up to this moment, I would just say, man, look, everything after this is a bonus. To be completely honest with you, bro. Uh, yeah, I got to set more goals. I got to get them established, but everything that I kind of want to do for the future, all the seeds have been planted. All I'm doing is pouring water on everything that I've already fucking done. Period. That's just the way I see it.
That's amazing, dude.
Add some fertilizer here and there, but I think that everybody I'm around, we all just gonna get better. We all just gonna tighten up. We all getting older. Everybody know we can't be playing. I don't play with people, and again, that's the objective. Even if I decline at this point, I still hit what I wanted to do. Even if I decline, bro, I'm cool with that. I'm not even tripping. I know where I'm gonna be at regardless. Period. I'm okay with that. Like for real.
And that's awesome, man.
Like
Because
for real, man.
you can look in the mirror and be
I
like,
got
I
goals,
checked that
man.
box.
I wanted to write a book, man. I wanted to open. I wanted to have a vodka. I wanted to have these barbershops. I wanted to own a house. I wanted to buy these cars that I got. I wanted to. And again, I told you earlier, I don't want it if I feel I can't have it. I don't even want it if I feel that I cannot have it. Once I keep watering things, then I start my vision start getting a little more clear about what I want. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm blind too far ahead. I'm completely blind. I gotta put on some glasses maybe, but that's when everything start growing, and that's the glasses. You know what I'm saying? Bifocals get a little more distant, then I can get some damn binoculars at some point, right?
Yeah.
And see even further, right? And so that's what it is for the future.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, that's horribly exciting. I don't know.
Exactly.
It's absolutely exciting.
You know what It Up stands for? I have a company called It Up Enterprises.
Okay.
And Chop It Up Barbershop. I had a company called Ink It Up Tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted back a long time ago when I established that It Up concept. I wanted to do clean it up. Clean it up. Basically like a cleaning service. I wanted to do pick it up towing. And the concept of it was is the unexpected plan. It's an acronym for is the unexpected plan. So all of these different businesses with It Up in the middle that ties everything together, it was supposed to establish a concept that I don't know what the fuck is going to be in the future, but It Up Enterprises is going to be involved in establishing it. So those ideas have kind of changed a little bit, but hey, it's the unexpected plan. You know what I mean? ITUP.
ITUP.
ITUP. It Up Enterprises.
I love that. That's phenomenal, man.
Mm-hmm.
You speak like somebody who's lived a full life. I know that you're only 40, right? So
Yeah.
you got so much more life. You can double it up at least.
I'm telling you, bro. I'm about to. I again, shit. I feel like I am, man. I feel very confident about the future. I just, again, I'm not looking too far ahead. I'm dealing with shit day to day right now, and I can appreciate the obstacles. I actually enjoy them. I think discomfort is the most important thing to grow. Uh, if you're too comfortable, man, it's bad. Actually, that's how I see it.
100%.
And I am comfortable, but I put myself in uncomfortable spaces on purpose. Sometimes it could be calculated risk, right? Investing and stuff, but I've done enough of that. I've taken enough risk over the last 10 years, 20 years to know that I got that itch scratched, right? Going to Georgia, opening a shop in Detroit, Wenatchee, all these distant locations gives me a idea of what it's going to be like to open in California and Texas and and fucking Milwaukee and all these different places in New York. Those are all concepts. They're not goals right now. Because if it was a goal, I'd be checking that shit off. Like I'd be every day taking at least a portion of my day to apply the effort to get it done. And I'm not interested in doing that right now. I want it to be almost easy to do that shit. I've already worked really hard. So moving forward, I want shit to be a little more easy. And money makes things a little easier.
100%.
And so, money is a part of that, putting water on shit right now. Fertilizer.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
letting the sun come up, right? You got to wait for the sun to come up every day for the rays to, you know what I'm saying? The vitamins.
Yeah.
That the
photosynthesis and all that shit.
Yeah, bro. You got to let life evolve. You can't force that shit, dude. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. There's a right. I think perfect timing is really important. Conor McGregor said it best. Speed beats power. Timing beats speed. And
Here an elite level fighter, and a lot of people can say he's not elite level, but are you an elite level fighter? If you're saying that, right? That's the question.
Right.
Conor McGregor is an elite level fighter, and seeing how he plays his
Until
shots
he meet Mayweather.
until he meet Mayweather. Right.
He probably learned that quote from experience with Mayweather.
Yes.
Probably.
Yes.
He's too quick, and his timing is on point.
It's on point, right?
I mean, not to knock Conor, man.
Not to knock Conor,
you
but
know what I'm saying? My
boxing's a
boy
whole nother
Floyd,
world.
bro. That's the only time I watch. That's the only time I watch boxing is when he fight, man. I just think I like to see, like, that's why it's
There's
hard
never
going to
be another one of him again.
It's hard for me to watch basketball, bro. Ever since Jordan, I know everybody say LeBron. I mean, come on, man. I mean, it just you don't. It ain't. Have you ever seen Jordan play?
Yes.
Are you old enough to?
Yeah, I grew up watching videotapes recorded.
Okay, videotape. I watched this shit when it was
like
real
commercials.
time. Like I remember,
I didn't get
bro. Like Jordan was like, you did not want to miss a regular season game, let alone the finals and the playoffs and all that shit.
Or when he had the flu.
Could you imagine missing a Jordan game when he was playing at his height?
Hell no!
Come on, bro. Like you'd be trying to get off from work.
They wouldn't leave me alone. My friends would pick on me for the rest of my life.
Man, bro, Jordan, he just commanded that attention. Like it's greatness.
Great, it is greatness.
It's greatness. You cannot miss that. I can miss a whole season. I'll wait to the final game. Not even the finals. I'm talking about when it's, on the verge of somebody winning or somebody, you know what I'm saying, when it's all the way down to 3-3 or, it's 2-3, because it take 4 games to win in the final, right?
100%.
Yeah, so I'll wait till it's all the way at the end nowadays. Because it's just, that's how it goes.
Comparatively speaking, it's almost like I look at like a Seahawks, how the Seahawks are. Yeah. I'm not ragging on the Seahawks. Please forgive me if you're a Seahawks fan. But I'm just going to say it. I can go without watching a Seahawks game and not hate myself.
Yeah, but
could you imagine a Patriots fan missing Tom Brady's fucking game?
There you go.
Never.
There you go.
They would rather lose their job than missing a Tom Brady. There you go. Because that's their greatness.
It's the moment, the timing, and you know what I'm saying? They seeing it and he's coming through for them. Mm-hmm. It's like they get to sit and talk shit to the competitors that they're watching the game with, or they get to brag about it and they want to see it in real time. And that's the excitement of everything, bro.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I don't like watching mediocre. I don't even like dealing with mediocre shit, man.
Watered down things hurt.
I hate, you know what I mean? I don't, again, man, I like when people talk about like artists, right? Like rap artists coming up. I'm usually not in tune because I really don't want to hear you until you got a fucking hit. I don't want to hear the new shit, like the underground shit that you're trying to build your. And I know that's how the world works, right? There's people that they want to see that part before you are big time. I'm not interested in that part. I want to see when you hit that point where you like, hey, I want to hear about that story. I don't want to see it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
When you're doing the underground mixtapes and shit like that, and, you out there grinding, selling your tapes on the street. Usually when somebody give me that, I'll put it in, I'll listen to it, and just to kind of get involved. But I'm not putting it back in. I don't want to hear it again.
Yeah, because it's not refined yet.
And honestly, if it was a hit, it'll be a fucking hit. You know what I'm saying?
I got boys down in Dallas right now that put out hits and it just blows up.
Who?
I gotta look him up, man.
See,
his
handles. You shouldn't have to look him up.
Well,
that name should be cemented.
I took a brain. I would say yes. I took a brain injury when I was in the military, really bad. Okay. And my memories, that's why I take Alpha Brain so religiously.
Oh, okay.
Shout out to Alpha Brain for making me able to read.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
So I got him right here, my boy Timothy. So he's on I was in the Navy with him.
Okay.
And he keeps putting out banger after fucking banger after fucking banger. And all his songs, he mixes in motivational or knowledge-based stuff in every single song.
So you're saying they hits, right?
They're hits.
So they're hitting the radio. They're hitting top
he
scream
and his
screaming.
marketing practice is overwhelming. How he does it is he'll go out with his boys, all get in their cars, they'll make signs. They'll go out, they'll stop traffic with their signs out.
Now
look me up on Spotify,
that's a
and it
movement.
clones.
That's a little different. I gotta respect the movement. I do respect movements. Like if I see actual guerrilla marketing, that's what I call, you know, I read that book, Guerrilla Marketing, and yeah, that's like a tribal concept, tribal marketing. Starbucks does that. They do like when you see a person walking around with a Starbucks cup, they're fucking like, they're so proud of it. Like they're like, yeah, I'm drinking Starbucks, you drinking 7-Eleven.
Oh, 7-Eleven, motherfuckers.
Yeah. You're
peasant.
Your coffee is like fucking $3 cheaper than mine.
Yes, it doesn't even have water in it.
Yeah,
right?
Your shit watered down. My shit is the potent.
Yes, brother.
Shit, you know what I'm saying? So
and I think that's what people want. They want the real
but
shit.
People are, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, I mean, when you, even with fucking iPhone and Android, bro, either you're Android or either you're iPhone, and some people got both, right? But yeah, I'm iPhone.
I'm definitely iPhone. I like iPhone for marketing purposes as well, because it's just easy. There's so many tools on there.
Listen, bro, if I pull up with the iPhone, and hey, bro, I got the iPhone.
Do you have that blue thing surrounding the text message when I get the text?
Yeah. If I see that green pop up, I'm like,
I don't
consider
know
who I'm talking to right now.
I don't know. Can you airdrop me?
Reevaluate.
Can you airdrop me?
Yeah,
3 gigs.
I got to do some reevaluation on your character. But again, that's how we're fucking, like, that's how the world is going, bro.
100%.
Like, that's just what the fuck it is. So everything that I do, I try to make sure there's no shortcuts taken. I feel like, I just feel like when I brand things, again, it goes back to your word. It starts there. It starts with your character, your word. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, brother.
These things far exceed your reputation. Like, it carries on further than you can. You can't physically be in New York, but people in New York can hear about you if there's enough people that respect your fucking word and respect your character and respect who you are.
100%.
You see what I'm saying? Nobody gonna fucking go to New York to talk about you if you ain't worth talking about.
And that really is a huge, you know, big crazy red light going off in the back of my head, because I had my brother who was deployed in Spain, a good friend of mine, or he was stationed in Spain, and he was going through a mental health crisis. He was in the military with me. I'm not going to name his name because, you know, the privacy and stuff. One of his boys was talking with him, and it's like, hey, you should reach out to this guy. You know, he ended up listening to a couple of my podcasts and finding and going to seek help instead of dealing with his problems with alcohol. Right? I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you're listening, and don't drink when you're upset. It's really that simple.
Shit, I need to hear it.
Don't drink when you're upset. You know what I'm saying? You know, smoke a blunt when you're upset. Do something that's not going to be a natural depressive thing for your brain. Expand your mind when you're upset. Talk to somebody when you got some shit weighing you down. Talk to a stranger even. Fuck it. Why not?
Meditate, man.
Meditate.
Pray.
Or plan to get ahead.
Plan
to get ahead of my favorite way in life.
Yeah. Plan make moves permanent results.
Yes, brother. Yes, brother. And so, like me going through your book, there's some parts that really stood out, but the biggest thing that really stood out to me is the mindset you have to overcome extreme obstacles and power through the trials and tribulations we experience in life. It has to be sharpened with constant knowledge. You have to surround yourself with people who are better, smarter than you, better than you, faster than you. If you run with fucking wolves, you might get some food at the end of that little run, right? Yeah. And also not becoming a victim of your situation. Right. Be the victor. Yeah. Those are just some things that stood out to me. What is the message that you really want to get across to the world with this novel? Because I think I'm gonna be straight up, man. This should be in everybody's books to read list.
That was the intention with it. I'm a terrible seller. I hate selling shit. I just feel like organically, obviously with this platform right here that you providing for me, I looked at it as an opportunity to come and talk about my book. People don't ask me all the time, like, you know what I'm saying? I got people that's close to me that won't even read my shit. You know what I'm saying? It's not, I don't look at them different. I just think maybe they were waiting on that audio version, which I gotta just sit down, take the time to do it. But I plan on getting that out. But my overall objective was when I started the book, and when I did it, I just had so many people asking me like, how did you do this? How did you do that? And I'm sitting here and I'm like, damn, bro, you know what? I sit here and have these conversations with people while they're getting a haircut or when we are out to fucking have drinks. This is the time they want to ask me this question. I'll sit there and try to explain shit and to the point where it's like, bro, I can't sit here and fucking talk to you about how I did the shit that I'm doing. But I can put it in a book and you can read it if you want. You can actually support. You can really get the details. Once you get the details, right, you can see that, bro, I told you in 2007, I was at Barnes and Nobles like every day after work looking for new material. I'll sit in there and read a book in the beginning and get familiar. But my biggest thing was like audio books because I got this thing called um, Automobile University. So I will put in these CDs in my car. I'm driving to work, driving away from work. I'm driving to Seattle. No matter where I'm going, I got this information constantly going in my subconscious, right? And so a lot of this shit just kicked in. And what I'm saying is this: I took all this time, I got all this knowledge, I put it in one place for people to refer to. Everything that I know, I put it in one fucking book. So whatever I know, this is the first series of it. I plan on doing a 3-part series. This is like the first part. I want to do a part two, and then I want to do a part three. Because if you look at the cover, um, the scale is actually tipped one way. I want the scale to tip the other way and talk about this stage in my life or that particular stage in my personal life and the information that I've come to realize. I apply everything I know in my book. I still stand by the things that I wrote in this book, right? And so, like, as I progress, I'm gonna write that portion. But my overall goal is for the scale to be completely leveled out, right? Where they're both the time and the direction that I put into my life, because it's a compass and a clock, right? So that's the concept of the book. So you use your time to go in the right direction. A lot of people don't. A lot of people waste time going in the wrong fucking direction, and then they want to turn around and go back this direction. It's like, bro, you just wasted all this time doing that shit when you could have been doing this if you would have just listened to whoever the fuck you listen to. But again, I mean, everybody got their own journeys and stuff like that. But initially, it's a short book. It ain't much. I'm not no fucking scholar with writing and trying to get information to people, but I put a lot of effort and energy, bro. I use the thesaurus to come up with different words. I found myself using the same words, trying to explain shit. And I had to learn a lot of stuff just for me to get the book done, right? So I wanted this book to be for young youth around my son's age so he can navigate his life a little easier. And anybody that's his age, I think the majority of that stuff in that book is pretty much common sense stuff. When I really broke it all down, I think that for the most part, if you're around the right people, it's stuff that you're gonna come across anyway. But I just reinforce it in my book. I just really tell you, like, if you want to know how I did what I done, just read my damn book, bro, or buy it, or support it. Read a chapter every week or something. You know what I'm saying? Read a chapter a month.
I binge read it. I just read it straight through. I loved it.
Yeah, man.
I just stayed up all night.
Thank you, man.
I really enjoyed it.
I'm glad you said that because it's really you can really do that. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? If you really want to get through it and knock it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not a complicated situation. It's a little repetitive at moments because I'm not, again, I had to I came across some information that a person got to hear something 7 times before it really internalizes. So there is certain things that I'm a little repetitive with, but I'm an instructor, right? So, and if you look at it in chapter 1, I'm kind of like, when I first started, I'm kind of like in this curriculum mindset of trying to like create a curriculum for people. But then I was like, man, this shit is like too serious right now. I need to get a little bit subtly into like personal situations that I went through and stuff like that, instead of like just trying to tell people this is what you need to do, this is what you need to be doing.
A strong
I
foundation.
started getting to the point where I'm like, this is what I think you should do. I'm not
100%.
saying what you should do, but this is what I think would be cool to do, right?
Yes.
And it's just, again, it's my philosophy. It's not, and it's not like shit that I'm completely came up with. This is all information that's out there. It's just that I applied, like, I got so many quotes. I got a quote from Nipsey Hussle in there. I got quotes from Kobe Bryant. I got quotes from that I came across, things that stood out to me. Every chapter is pretty much let off with a quote.
Mhm.
And I think that was important for people to know that, bro. I got my information from a lot of resources, from music, from business, from people that I know, from, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely, brother. And one of my one of the last highlights that I really took, that I had about 14, but I wanted to refine it down.
All right.
So one thing I really like in here, there are several ways to judge someone's worth, and one of them is to keep your word. We already touched on it,
Yeah, bro.
but that's one of those set in stone things that I wanted to make sure. This is the type of stuff that comes out there.
Yeah.
It's you're telling people to
And
open
if
their
you
eyes.
follow that, it says your word can be a form of currency, right?
Yes, brother.
Yeah.
Your word can
Like,
be a form of currency.
Yeah. I mean, bro, your word should be fucking worth money.
Yes.
You know what I'm
100%.
saying? Money that you don't even have. You can not have money, but a person believes in you because your word is just so fucking solid.
And people take your word at face value every
At
single
face
time, right?
value, yeah.
I really think this book it should not just be in people's houses. This is something that you can share with, like, I'm gonna be reading it back with him. I'm
Thank you, man.
I'm gonna be
I appreciate that.
I'm gonna be recommending this to my wife's mother.
No doubt.
All my podcast brothers over there at Nikki Free Podcast. I'm gonna be talking to all the guys I work with about this as well. This is a simple book where you literally take a rock, you cut away at the shit, you shine it up, and holy shit, it's a diamond. This is literally how you.
Thank you.
Like, this is a foundation book, and I cannot wait for your second one to come out. I really cannot. I think it's important to talk about, spotlight, and go over lessons that we learn in life. And you just gave us a lot of lessons in a small book. It's only 119 pages. It's easy money.
Real quick.
Oh man, and I don't like reading 700-page books. I'm dyslexic as hell.
Yeah.
As hell, and
No,
my brain
me too.
didn't help.
Bro, I'm gonna be honest. I don't even think I read a whole fucking book before. I've taken moments out of books. I've taken away things that I like. Well, obviously, I mean, I read my book.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I wrote it. But I literally go back to remind myself about the information, because I took notes for years. I had a journal. I got a journal, and I still write in my journal. Well, not as often as I should, but I like to document stuff to a point where I can really stand on shit based on real. I forget about things.
Uh-huh.
We all do. Right?
We all do.
I mean, we all do, right?
Definitely,
But,
brother.
bro, everybody forgets shit, especially me. I think that after I got shot, something happened where my memory. I'd have coworkers tell me shit all the time. When I go back to Georgia, people remind me of shit that I did when I was younger, and I'm like, bro, I don't remember that shit at all. I'm talking about even when they tell me I don't remember it. And I'm like, fuck.
There's a direct correlation with trauma and short-term memory loss.
No, real shit.
Direct correlation.
That's
and it's
real
scary,
talk, bro.
It's
That's
scary.
Real talk. Like,
I find myself getting reminded by my wife of things that I forget.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking about shit that I'm trying to remember that I forgot.
You got to compartmentalize this there, but I think the trauma, man, it puts blocks up around certain shit.
100%.
And then when you hear it from people that you trust, their word is good, or people that really know you, and you hear it, you be like, damn, okay, I did that. That's another thing that's been brought back to my forefront of my memory. So I gotta adjust. I still gotta make that right, or I gotta deal with that.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And yeah, documenting to me is like the best way to when you get Jim Rohn. I got a quote from Jim Rohn in there. Jim Rohn, when I got that information, I just believed the dude, man. You know what I'm saying? You know Jim Rohn?
I haven't researched him yet. I did highlight
bro.
his name. I plan on
Listen,
doing like a week of research deep dive.
man, bro. Jim Rohn is gonna fucking low key change your life. But you damn near like Jim Rohn. I mean, I ain't gonna go that hard, but
shit, man.
bro,
I appreciate
you
it.
be putting you. This dude is super. You're super motivational, man.
Thank you.
And I like your energy, bro. That's part of the reason why I'm here, and that's one of the and I salute that, bro. It's commendable, man, to see you at base level building, and I feel like I want to enjoy watching your journey, man. I like when people say they gonna do some shit and they actually do it. People have said that to me. They remember me saying, "Oh, I'm gonna do this," and then I finally did it. Or a lot of the stuff that I said I was gonna do, when I told them, which I don't talk to a lot of people about shit that I'm gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's bad too sometimes.
When they reassure me, when they reassure me that, man, I remember when you said you was gonna do this, and when I think about it, I'm like, that's dope. That's just a dope thing to follow through with some shit that you said you was gonna do.
Oh, yeah.
Not a lot of people do that, bro.
But when you asked me about my 5 and 10 year goals on the Barber Game podcast, shout out to them, of course.
There you go. Yep.
I was so caught off guard. I got hit like a ton of bricks because I never speak about what I want. I've almost learned that I wouldn't say it's a bad practice because that's dealing in absolution. It's not always a bad practice. It's a practice that I'm hesitant about because every time I voice my goals, people they breathe down, they come off they sit on their little fake throne, their high horse, and they breathe that nasty stank ass breath of negativity right at you. Are you sure? Because they don't envision it for themselves.
Exactly.
There's an amazing YouTube motivational video I used to listen to when I was in the gym.
Do you feel like that's a form of slighting?
It's mad disrespect, brother. It's straight disrespect. It's bullshit. It's rude. Jealousy is the ugliest trait.
Yeah.
Carrie Hilson wasn't the first person to say it, so she won't be the last. I'm gonna say it right now. Jealousy is the ugliest trait. It shows how insecure you are about your goals, and it shows that you don't envision things for yourself the way I envision things for me. When I look at myself in the future, I see my goals bright as day. It's like the first Harry Potter movie where you're looking in the mirror, and it's telling you exactly what you want to see.
Yeah.
That's what I see in me. Every time I look in the mirror, I say, I'm going to be great tomorrow because I'm working towards it. Not because I am great.
One thing that I took away from your interview, and man, I hate working out.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, bro. I just don't like working out.
Yeah.
At 30, I started boxing. Stuck with it for about 8 months. Got up to running like 5 miles a day. Dude had a battery in my back. He tried to start getting me to spar. I was serious about getting into it, and I was motivated. I'm like, I'm starting at 30, but it's like, and I felt like I could fight Mayweather. I felt like I could.
Your mind was sharp.
Bro, I was so dead ass serious about that shit, and I was so focused on it. And then we had to open up the South Center location. And I was just like, you know what? What's more important? But to bring it back to working out. So I ended up just quitting and just saying, fuck that, I ain't got time for that. But to bring it back, when you were talking in your interview, I was like, man, you make that shit sound so easy because of your concept and your theory on it of just wanting to be fucking better, right? I can't do that. I don't care about being better in that department. It has to be something like a skill-based situation, like boxing or like what you're doing with the
jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, that. Like it got to be something that I'm getting a workout, but I'm not just in there lifting weights and doing push-ups and shit like that.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
And I can agree with that, and I can see where, and it's not a bad thing that you feel that way. It's not a bad thing to practice that. I use real life aspects, things that I work on. So I give myself 3 hours a day for myself every day.
Mm-hmm.
The first hour a day is my drive to work and also my 4:45 in front of the fire network time, where I pre-plan my texts to send out at exactly 6 a.m. And if you ain't up by 6 a.m., sorry, not sorry. It is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
sure. Is what it is.
For sure.
But you don't have to. You ain't got to listen to Do Not Disturb
Time
on the
lost.
iPhone. Get an iPhone. Do Not Disturb. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there you
Sleep mode. But like, I use an hour drive home. I allot myself and my decompression time when I get home after I kiss my wife. I love you, honey. How was your day? Blah blah. Or sometimes you're not home because we work with different schedules.
Yeah.
I use that time, and then I got my 1 hour of whatever I'm doing, whether it's weightlifting or martial arts, gun training, whatever it is.
Yeah.
That time just literally sharpens my mind. So I pick a skill or a field to work at that makes my mind sharper, so that everything else gets sharper.
Right.
I wasn't good at speaking in podcasts until I realized that I have significant brain damage, and the only thing that helps is not caffeine, it's not life experience, not excitement, but alpha brain, and it just makes me feel like things are connected. I wish they would fucking sponsor me. I'm just telling the truth.
Yeah.
Like this stuff just helps me.
Right.
So I use these tools.
You said alpha brain?
Alpha brain, yeah, by On It. I'll hook you up with some before you roll.
Okay.
And you'll take it for 3 days, and you'll be like, "What the fuck? My brain is."
So it's actually like
snapping.
A physical, like
yeah. It's like a nootropic. So it's a all natural vitamin that affects the brain.
Okay.
And I can read.
Yeah.
I don't have to read things twice. It's scary.
I never even heard of that shit.
So yeah, man, it's really good. I'll hook you up with some. But like all these things that I do, they equate to self betterment in every aspect of my life.
Oh, that's what I'm saying, man.
But if it doesn't make dollars, it don't make sense. So if me getting
all that shit
a black eye from a 16-year-old girl that's been doing jiu-jitsu longer than I have, or if me getting choked out by a 12-year-old who's been doing jiu-jitsu longer than I have,
man, come on, man.
If that don't just break my ego, cause it's not like you're not punching. Yeah. You have to be tactical, and how big you are doesn't matter in jiu-jitsu. It's like one of the only scalable martial arts to where if a kid's been doing jiu-jitsu long enough, they can fuck up like a 300-pound person without punching them even once.
Yeah.
Just by moving your body, they use you against you. That's what it really is. It's like grappling. It's some you see in John Wick, man. It's just sure wild, brother.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, bro.
And that's why I do it. I don't do weightlift. I don't believe that weightlifting is for me the reason it's.
But again, you was actually doing it to accomplish like competition. Shit. So it's like you had it's almost like at that point it was a certain level of skill that you had to obviously obtain. You know what I'm saying?
Higher purpose.
You eventually want to compete. There's some people that just want to just work out and be in good shape. I don't. No, I mean, damn, bro, I'm chilling.
I'm trying to work out my pockets. That's what I'm trying to do.
that's the most. Now that is motivation with me.
Yes, brother.
Yeah, bro. I like to make money work.
Yeah. Money. And speaking of make money work, something I gotta know. When did you decide to get into the vodka industry, and is there a whiskey coming in the future? That's what I really need to know right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you were saying that. So the vodka, man, honestly, I never was interested. I didn't have any idea that I was ever really going. I never set out to do it, but my engineering partner Q, when me and him first became business partners, it was something that he was interested in. And he wanted to do it back then. And I was like, hey, bro, first of all, I'm not financially in a space to where I feel, that that's something that I can kind of like commit to. I hate committing to shit that I can't follow through on. So on top of that, I had a goal set for Chop It Up. And so I was like, look, I tell you this, I'm not ready right now, but if we focus on these things, we get to a certain place, I'd be 100% in, right? And so 7 years later, after that conversation, in 2017, I went down to Georgia, launched that shop, and there was a lot of idle time. just because I was going from Georgia for 18 years. I opened up the shop, and my main priority was just dealing with business. But um, I go to shop at 10, I get out at 7, and from 7 to like 11 at night, I'm kind of just, for the first four, few months, I'm hanging out with family and doing all that. But you know how that get old real quick, because you know what I'm saying. If you ain't,
Gold chasing.
yeah, bro. Like I had to just really get uncomfortable again. I'm already uncomfortable being over here, but that's only for 10 hours a day. I need to get another 3 hours out of the day when I'm actually trying to get something else in the pot to cook up. And so I thought it was the perfect time to start brainstorming and thinking about what my boy wanted to do. My guy, you know what I'm saying? I said, I said one day we could do this. I thought it was the perfect time. We had went on a 7 year run. We dropped one shot per year every year after that. From 2010 to 2016, we dropped a shot per year. And
And that's it. That I just gotta say, that's overwhelming. That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, bro.
That's that's a freaking powerhouse.
It was a great time in history because there wasn't so many people trying to open a barbershop. So we was filling markets that literally didn't have a barbershop. Now you got guys opening up barbershops across the street from barbershops, and I just think it's kind
Don't
of
open
ridiculous.
up across a Chop It Up. You're gonna be broke.
Well, no, I mean people do it. You know what I'm saying? They give us, I shout out to those guys, man. I mean, I think business etiquette wise, I just don't respect it.
100%.
But at the end of the day, I mean, I would never do that. But if they want to compete, you know how I feel about that. You feel me?
Yes.
So I decided to switch my angle and get involved with something that I felt that we could like do in the background while I'm building the shop in Richmond Hill in Georgia. So that's when I was like, all right, cool. It's time to put in some work. So that's when we started doing the logo, coming up with the look of the bottle, and um, actually the distillery is in Jacksonville, right down the street from Savannah. So I was able to make the trip down there, and we was just working on this shit like every day, or not every day, but every few days, just getting on the phone, doing our conference calls with the people that we needed to talk to, and yeah, man. In 2020 was the well, actually, I got the samples in 2019, the first samples of the product after numerous shit. It's just a lot of stuff, man. It's really, I don't want to say it's hard, but I don't want to say it's easy either. So I don't, it's like, you know, when you get into an industry that you know nothing about, it's kind of like, all right, we got to do a lot of research on this. And so that's what it was for 2 years, man. Just doing a lot of research. Finally got the product, and and was finally zipped everything in again. 2020, around the same time I got my book done. Um, Everything on the in the with that was on the tail end of being completed, and so I got my first shipment out here at the warehouse in Bothell. We got the first shipment, and man, it was a huge accomplishment. Again, another check off the box of goals, and yeah, that was it, man. I mean, honestly, if I could tell you that the only motivation to do a vodka was the fact that I wanted to keep my word with my buddy, with my war buddy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty serious. You're so prolific about goal chasing, honoring your word, and I really do find it's a breath of fresh air to be in the same room as somebody who believes in that.
Appreciate it.
It's hard for me to find someone to sit in the room when they
Hell
say,
yeah,
I
it's
really
actually
want to
rare.
do this, and then I'm like, okay, let's. I'm fucking pulling out a piece of paper. I can't do blueprints. I'm not good at graphic design, but I'm
everybody
trying.
yeah.
What? How do we? Let's do it. I want that person to know that they're supported, and I also want to show them that they can do it with the right support.
Exactly.
If they're my friend, right, my friends come up with so many ideas. I want to be a millionaire. I want to do this. Okay, back in 2019, you had to have 7 forms of income to be a millionaire within 3 to 5 years, statistically. In this day and age, with this economy, with this presidency, with the political spectrum that we're dealing with right now,
Shit,
I don't even know. You might need like 100. But shit, I'll tell you what. Right now, the one thing I know for sure is that I want to be there for my friends, and goal chasing is the way of life. When you are driven, not like you drive the driver's seat, you're driven.
Yeah.
Life or death. You know that safety zones and cover zones are dead zones. You know that you're not bent with your life experiences. You're just a little bit, you're not broken, excuse me, but you're just a little bent with your life experiences. You came back from being fucking shot.
Yeah.
And you're a multiple business owner. You're always doing outreach, checking on your people. That's one thing that stands out about me. You always check on your people. Your team, man. Down to the lowest.
No stones unturned, bro.
No stones unturned.
Yeah, I don't fucking around, bro. I try my best. You know what I'm saying? When you're dealing with a lot of people, you gotta try your best, bro. You can only, do what you can do. But one thing that I learned in the process that really motivated. So in the process, one thing I really learned was the fact that, again, I told you that right at the pandemic is when I got my book done and the vodka, just got the product, received the shipment. It was powerful, and during that time frame, the barbershop in Washington, we had to shut it down. They was like, no, you can't open up the shop. You can't provide services right now. You know what I mean? You remember that? I mean,
yeah.
We had to wear a mask. It was too detrimental. So one thing that I was like, oh man, I turned all the way the fuck up. I was like, all right, let me get my books. I got my vodka. I started making like T-shirts. I made lighters. I made trays for the, I threw those things on the website. You know what I'm saying? Just product can far exceed a service. When you stop, if anything was to happen, you can still sell product. Product can go further than a service, right? You got to spend time to provide a service. Especially, you got to have people to provide the service. So, for whatever reason that you don't have the people to provide the service, your business is literally done. But when it comes down to a product, you literally can uh, you can sell product in China. You can sell product in Africa. You can sell product anywhere. It can go from your house to wherever people buy it. And so the the whole thing about it is like, if it's a good product, if people want it, you don't stop making money, man. At that time, people started drinking, people started reading, people started jumping on YouTube, people started listening to podcasts. These things are like products and entertainment and things that are at people's convenience. You know
Consumables.
Consumables, right? To where you could just, literally apply the methods that get these things in motion to make money. And I think that's a way to expand a little further beyond just in a brick and mortar standard situation where, and by the way, around that time, I was like, fuck it. I went and bought um, we, I don't want to say we invested into a mobile truck to supply barber, services, right? To where we're not stationary. Now we can drive to people's houses for their convenience, and we're not breaking no laws. So now we can keep our money rolling.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Two barbers can get in the truck every day, and we can move around and navigate. We never seen nothing like that. So immediately, all survival mode kicked in. It's time to hustle, bro.
Yeah.
I do that. I'm gonna pay my bills regardless, right? And so that was the concept behind that, man. You got to really just get into the bag of what your knowledge and shit, man. I was making candles, bro. I was making aftershave candles for people to be able to buy off the website and burn them in their crib. So the barber, a lot of people say they like the smell of the aftershave and stuff. So man, we was accenting the candles with the barber aftershave, so that in such a situation like this with the man cave, you throw the candle on and smell like a barbershop.
Smell like a barbershop. You
Hell
know what?
yeah.
I'm gonna have to give me one of the damn candles,
Hell
man.
yeah, bro. I burn them in my bar at the crib. You know what I'm saying?
Well, something that you just talked about, well, a few things you just talked about are huge. They're lessons that I've understood, but I've never been able to articulate in a way like you're providing a real, tangible example.
Yeah, tangible fact. Yeah.
Consumables are products, right?
Yeah.
And products have multiple lines.
Multiple
Absolutely,
lines, bro.
So products can go to anywhere.
Yeah.
Services is a 1-to-1 ratio, right?
1-to-1 ratio.
Especially when you're talking about
time
like my trade,
well.
very time consuming.
Yeah,
because you're investing so much time into that one service versus a product
and you're
into multiple.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, go ahead.
And that's kind of like rigging with elevator installation, or rigging in the Navy for me. Lifting a super heavy load with. I think it's smarter than not harder. I think that it's important to understand the difference, but I've never had it explained to me in my entire life. Like for me, growing up, I had a stepdad who worked in the military and a Boeing. I had a mom who worked 3 jobs to make sure we made five. Because when you get activated after 9/11, your parents ain't making shit.
Yeah, man.
So times wasn't always easy. I never had a lot of lessons that I wish I had. Kidding me. This is a huge one though, right? Because this is business education. So mobility is also availability for other avenues of income. I think, and we just talked about this. You might need 1,000 incomes in this bitch. Man, I don't even know. To make it in 2020, 24 this is a volatile time with the banks collapsing, with things going crazy. You have to have your roots running deep.
Man, that's where the world is going, man, with the metaverse and crypto. Man, like I just heard Robert Kiyosaki on Vlad TV. He was talking about buying gold as a source of exchanging your money for something that doesn't lose value. Gold is always valuable, man. It's only so much. I don't know. I don't know if it's only so much. I think that it's just, it's hard to find, right? So gold is one of those things that I think is safe investments. I ain't got to that part of my life yet to where I'm just buying bars of gold, trying to fucking save it. Most of the gold I'm trying to buy, I'm trying to wear that shit.
Yeah. Ain't nothing wrong with it, man.
Yeah, bro. So, but at the end of the day, finding ways to fucking make money these days and not exchange your time for money, right? People are paying for your if you can find a way to have people pay for your presence, right? Fuck the time. You're paying for my presence and my knowledge and the things that I know. So why would a person pay you $20 million to sit and talk to them for 20 minutes or an hour or 2 hours? That's one of the things that Jim Rohn talks about. Make sure you look him up, man. Jim Rohn.
I definitely will.
He's like, man, why would I forgot what company he said, but why would they call me? And then he's like, when he thought about it, he said, who else would they call them? Right? Like, who else is more qualified for the information and what I provide? Why would they pay me $5 million to have this, like, to explain this to these 3,000 people that are in this building? And he was a motivational speaker, right? Some people get motivated by artists. Why would people pay somebody $1 million to come and perform for 1 hour? Right? They draw a crowd. They obviously make people feel a certain way. They have a certain level of influence. People get something from that. I personally, it's an experience. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm trying to get to that level, to where my knowledge, my time in this world that I've invested into information, and I'm able to articulate it, or whatever the case. I want that to be worth something that people are willing to pay for.
Right? And that's huge, because how many times have you seen the meme on social media? Would you take $500 million or one conversation with Jay-Z?
Exactly, that type of shit.
My question is this: is one conversation with Jay-Z worth $500 million, or
No.
can I take $500 million and pay you for your knowledge, and this person for their knowledge, and another person for their knowledge, and monetize?
Bro, you could pay a lot of people for their
I
knowledge.
could pay a lot of people.
You could
and
probably pay Jay-Z.
Yeah.
At that point.
or I could just ask people if they don't want to share with me, they don't have to share with me, and then I could just take their knowledge and invest it into a proper business venture. Like I don't know. I think that one thing I would like to invest in the future is other companies, right? As I grow, as I expand my life, this weird thing, this conversation thing, it's raw. I don't water down my shit. I release raw episodes. I don't if someone says something fucked up, they gotta own up for that shit on their time, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I make a lot of mistakes in life. Mistakes I learn lessons from, I share them. I learn a lot of painful, sad mistakes from veterans overseas.
I bet.
You know, the veteran stories, all these things, they're really interesting because they're tools for others. You have a very fucking big tool shed.
I appreciate it, man. I believe so. I mean, not to be, you know what I'm saying? I'm humble, bro. I'm not into that shit either. Sometimes people be like, yo, so who's the owner of this place? I'm like, I'm very reluctant on even saying it because I just know what comes along with it. Oh, so how did you, you know, all that shit, bro. I just
Everybody wants a blueprint.
I don't get nothing out of telling people I'm the fucking owner of something. Yeah. I really want to know more about why you're here.
Yeah.
Is it because of what is it? Why? I'm getting my data too. Like you trying to get yours. Like, you know what I mean?
I get down with that.
But if you if you're somebody that I know, like, okay, I've cut your hair 5-6 times, and I know, where you work, what I, where I work, and obviously because I'm cutting your hair or whatever, and now we got a rapport. I have found that people are just way more shocked when they find out that I actually am an owner, or I found it, Chop It Up, right?
Yeah.
So they get a little more. Like, what? You never even said that since I've known you, and I'd be happy when they don't ask me. When people just come out the gate and ask shit like that, I want to know what their intentions are. Why are you asking that? Why do you even want to know that? Why is that so important to you? Why do you even feel like that's cool to ask a random barber that's cutting your hair? Because my thing is, do you ask every barber that? Or are you just asking me that shit? And if you are asking me that shit, you probably already know the answer.
100%.
Why are you asking me? Do you ask every barber that? Like, who owns the shop? Like, why is that so? And then, but that's just, that's just
people use information as leverage.
That's just some inside information.
And you have to deal with that. People use information as leverage. You have to protect yourself.
A lot. Yeah.
We have to build walls, castles in your case, to deal with people trying to take the treasure, right?
Yeah, man. You can have agents out here, man, trying to fucking figure shit out.
100%. One thing that stands out about your vodka, like just to speak on it, like first time I tried it, first of all, smooth as hell.
Yep.
You said 7 times distilled. 6 times distilled. Okay, so 6 times distilled from sugarcane directly, right? Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed. I tried it first, just neat.
Yeah.
No rocks whatsoever.
Right.
And it didn't like hit me in the face like a ton of bricks.
It's real subtle.
Real subtle. Yeah. So even if I was at the beach or something, I could just drink it right out of a red solo cup. Definitely a red solo cup because I'm not trying to get caught up or whatever.
Yeah.
But add rocks, it's a whole nother level.
Man, it's nice.
And I usually sip it while it's chilling.
It almost come across like a cognac or a whiskey. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, it's not too many vodkas I like to drink straight.
Mm-hmm.
But bro, we didn't take no shortcuts on the quality of this product, even from, like we plan on getting into flavors and shit soon. You see, that's a white bottle that we're drinking out of. That's a sample color bottle, but it's still it's a little watered down. Okay. To be honest, it's not the black bottle.
The black bottle is the way.
The black bottle. I don't that was the real deal, but again, it's a vibe, bro.
Yeah.
Even from the name, man, Zawadi is Swahili. It's a language. We put a lot of thought into it. When you drink spirits, you literally, I just take it literal. Like, what was the intentions when a person made their brand? What was the intentions of that person? What was their energy? What was they about? What did they what did they want people to feel like? And so, we wanted our shit to be positive. Even though it's alcohol, we wanted it to be a celebratory situation where so the word Zawadi means the gift. And so it gives me Christmas vibes. It gives me, birthday celebration vibes. Like, if you want to have a good time drinking this, it's a gift. You can buy it for somebody. You can, put it on your bar. It looks nice. And taste is a gift. There's a slogan. It's on the back of the bottle. Taste is a gift. And everybody don't have good taste, right? And I consider that I consider it a real classy drink. I think that if you got good taste, you'll like this. You'll like that.
Definitely, man. I definitely enjoy it. I've had about 8 of my friends so far. I want to hug it onto myself. I'll be honest, but I had about 8 of my friends try it. They loved it. Wow.
Yep.
My wife and her mother especially. I think it definitely trumps Grey Goose or any of the gold standards of what vodka is out there.
Yeah.
Because of how refined it is.
I've had fucking vodka connoisseurs be like, "Yo, man, you really need to like get this shit in stores." And that's one of the hurdles right now, man. It's a hard business to get into. It's a hard situation. I'm, I'm just going off the theory and the idea that hard work pays off. I think that, again, hard work meets opportunity, and it, it I believe that one of these days we'll get a break. It'll be somebody that really realizes how good it is, and not only that, but realize that there's some serious motherfuckers behind it. We're not playing. We're not wasting nobody's time. They're gonna make money with us if they decide to support it. I think that the customers that drink it, they're gonna be happy.
Yeah,
and everybody be good.
It's bulletproof.
We get to make money, and everybody get to enjoy the product.
I think that's all you can ask for in a product.
And I just like to be straight up, man. I mean, obviously, man, we don't do shit to not make no money with, but at this point, I feel confident that if you're willing to go out and buy a bottle of Grey Goose, I think that if you see this on the shelf next to it, I think you'll make a better purchase. If it's Ciroc next to it, it don't matter. Tito's is gluten free as well. Our product is gluten free, but Tito's, bro, I'm gonna be honest. I haven't had another vodka since we got our shipment. I only drink like other genres of liquor now: whiskey, cognac, gin. I'll drink those, but when it comes to vodka, unfortunately, they've lost me as a customer because I'm my biggest customer.
Yes, you have higher standards now.
Yeah, man, I enjoy it. I stand on it.
I love it.
Yep.
Well, I do appreciate your product. I loved your book. There's one thing that really stands out to me about who you are as an individual. I think you are someone who wants to make your products that you provide to the world as well refined as you want yourself to be. Absolutely. As well.
Yeah.
And it's all to be an example for the future.
Yeah.
And especially your children. I really do admire that about you, my brother.
Yeah.
I really do appreciate your time. I appreciate the wisdom that you shared with us. And one thing that I really want to make sure I say is thank you from a point of absolution. Thank you so much for taking time to do this and to talk about your book, because how many times have I just read something and I have no background of who's really behind this.
Yeah.
This is something that I believe in. I believe in the knowledge you're sharing, and I believe that other people will benefit from this book as well. So everybody go to Amazon and get to the scale just like I did. Link will be in the description, of course. And I appreciate your time, my brother.
Hey, man, I appreciate you for having me, man. This is I'm a huge supporter of what you got going on too, man. And I thank you for coming on the Barber Game podcast. You know what I'm saying? Y'all go check that out. But yeah, it was a good conversation we had with you. he was able to drop some knowledge on us. And man, shit, we all moving forward, man. We making moves for permanent results.
100%.
You feel me?
You might have to write that down.
Yeah,
You might have to write that down.
for sure.
Permanent results is the goal.
Permanent results.
Excellent, man. Well, I definitely appreciate your time.
Appreciate you too, man.
And I appreciate every single one of my listeners, of course. Thank you. This has been another episode of Out the Gym Podcast. If you like what he is doing, make sure to head over to the link in the description and get right into it. Why not? I have so many exciting guests, but this has got to be the top 3 that I've ever had. Make sure to check out his book. Link will be in the description as well. And check out our episode on YouTube and everywhere podcasts are available. Much love, y'all. Enough waffling for me, and bye-bye.